So class is a collection of objects. Class is a collection of objects. Now, object in the sense, object have properties and their behavior. Properties and their behavior. Object is, for example, consider a car. Car is an object. Car have their properties and their behavior. Working condition is a behavior. Properties, color, chassis number, model number, manufacturing date, price, all these will comes under properties. So the properties, in other words, object will have their properties and their behavior. So multiple collection mean collection of objects will always be called as a classes. Is called as a class. That is, the object specifies the state and their behavior. State is nothing but properties. Behavior is nothing but operations. So for example, consider a pen. Pen is an object. Pen have their properties like nib, needle, right? Cap. These are all the properties. Next, behavior, whether it is writing on the paper, writing on the bird, writing on land. So these are all different operations where you can perform it. Here also the object is not. Now we can also define the other way, the how you are going to define the class is nothing but it is a collection of data member and member function. Is a data member and a member function. Data member is nothing but the variables which are declared inside the class is called data member. Member function is nothing but the function which is declared inside the class is called as member function. Is called as a member function. Well, so the class is a collection of data member and a member function. Data member is nothing, whatever the variable we have declared inside the class is called data member, and the function which is inside the class is called as a now. Here the class is a user defined, is a predefined. Class is a predefined. So class is a predefined function, and class name is a user defined function. User defined function. Example, class testing. Under that, I'm going to declare public void add. Under that, int a comma b comma c. So see, this is called as member function, and this is called as a data member. The collection of these two is called as a class. Is called as a class. So we can define as a class. There are different kinds where you can perform it. So for example, I want to get the area of a rectangle, something like, right? So area of a triangle or area of a square or area of perimeter. We can create any number of classes. We can create any number of functions, and we can call them. Yesterday we worked with local variables, or how we are going to call the functions. What are the types of functions? What are the types of functions we are having? Predefined and user defined. Avuna? Is it right?
Yes.
So what is user defined? Whatever variable or whatever the function will be declared by the user, those are called user defined functions. Here also the same thing. For example, you consider as class rectangle. Class rectangle. Under that, I can create any number of classes. I can create any number of methods. So how the method? Like integer. I can declare as integer. Something like a comma or integer h comma width comma area. Next, I can perform like void operation or operation. Under that, area equal to height into width. Height into width. Width. Now, system dot out dot println of area. So this is how we are going to call. Now, if you want to call this, where do you use? How do you use? So we need to create your main function. Under the main function, you can call that, right? So public static void main string comma args. Under that, what is your class name? Class name is testing. A1 equal to new testing. Under that, A1 dot add area na A1 dot operations. That's all. So this is how we are going to call the class. Okay, na? We can call any number of functions in the main method. Here, these are called, this is called as a member function, and these are called as a data members. So the combination of these two is called as a class. Now, in this class and objects, we should have to know the most important we are going to work in real time is constructors. Have you heard the term called constructors? Vinara?
Yes, we can.
What do you mean by constructor? The class name and the function name are similar, then we can call it as constructor. If the class name and the function name are similar, then we can call it as a constructor. That is, it is a special symbol which is used to perform, or which is used to perform certain operations on a class. Certain operations on a class by calling the function name. మీరు ఫంక్షన్ నేమ్ కాల్ చేసుకుంటే చాలు, మళ్ళీ క్లాస్ ని కాల్ చేయకల్లా, లేదా క్లాస్ ని కాల్ చేసుకుంటే ఫంక్షన్ నేమ్ కాల్ చేయకల్లా, ఏదో ఒకటి కాల్ చేసుకోవచ్చు అన్నమాట. ఓకే, సో ఫంక్షన్ నేమ్ అండ్ క్లాస్ నేమ్ ఆర్ సేమ్. దెన్ నెక్స్ట్, it has no return type. It doesn't have any return type. Next, it can be parameterized or non-parameterized. It can be parameterized or it can be non-parameterized. There will be only one constructor in a class. We cannot use multiple constructors. We cannot create multiple functions with the same name. Only one function name and the class name should be same. That is called as a constructor. Now we'll see an example for that. For example, class testing. Under that, I'm going to use void testing. Okay, void testing. If I use that, will this works? Void class, and I'm going to use the function name is also The function name is also testing. Now, under that, so I'm going to use declaring string manual string automation string addition. I declared three variables. These are the three variables. This is called as a data member. This is called as a member function. These two combination is called as a class. Now we may ask me what is a construct is. See, the class name is testing and the function name is testing. The function name is testing. Okay, under that I want to perform some operations in that. So like string addition equal to string akkarla. Addition equal to m1 plus m2. m1 plus m2. Okay na? So system dot out dot println addition. Now I'm going to create the main method. Public static void main string comma args. Under that, so what is your class name? What is your class name? Testing, right? Testing. Testing A1 equal to new testing, right? Now, you no need to call again function. మళ్ళీ ఫంక్షన్ కాల్ చేయకర్లా. ఎందుకు? ఫంక్షన్ నేమ్ ఒకటే ఉంది, క్లాస్ నేమ్ ఒకటే ఉంది కాబట్టి ఆటోమేటికల్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ఫంక్షన్ ఈస్ దేర్ ఇట్ విల్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ ఇట్. By defaultly it will execute the function name. It will execute the function name. Okay na? So you no need to call the function name. So testing A1 equal to new testing అని ఇచ్చామనుకోండి, ఆటోమేటిక్గా దాంట్లో ఏ ఫంక్షన్ అయితే ఉందో సేమ్ క్లాస్ నేమ్ తో పాటు ఆ ఫంక్షన్ కూడా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అయిపోతుంది అన్నమాట. దిస్ ఇస్ కాల్డ్ ఏ కన్స్ట్రక్టర్. సో the class name and the function name are similar, that is called as a constructor. We can use one constructor in a class and the constructor. So ఇందులో ఏంటంటే what is the main important is what is it? It can be parameters చేసుకోవచ్చు లేకపోతే parameterization చేసుకోవక్కర్లేదు. ఓకేనా? అండ్ it doesn't have any return type ఉండదు. It doesn't have any return type. Now there are two types of constructors are there. So types of constructors, I'll show you an example with that. One second, real time lo chupistana. Types of constructors. One is default constructor and the second one is called as parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. So these are the two types of constructors are there. One is default and other one is parameterized. So we'll see the example in this. I'm going to create a new package. Go to new, click on the package, make as constructors, click finish. Under that constructors, right click on that, go to new, click on the class, make as default constructor dots default constructor, click finish. Now what is your class name? Default. So I'm going to create something like integer x, integer y, integer z. Now default. Under that z equal to, or I can declare the values here also. Int x equal to 10, integer y equal to 20, z equal to x plus y. Now system dot out dot println z. Okay. Now I need to call this method, right? So what I can do? So public have you got it? What is your class name? Default. What is your function name? Default. So you don't need to call the function name. Got it? Okay, na? Automatically you can call
Yes.
that. This is called default constructor. This is called default constructor. Real-time example using this constructor. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click on the class. So I'm going to use as login, click finish. So what is your class name? Login. What is your class name? Login. Now, opening Chrome browser, navigate to Amazon or navigate to new tours, click on a link register or click on a link sign in, specify username and password, click on submit button, close the browser. See, for that I'm going to use a constructor. So how do you perform it? The construct is, what is your class name is login. Okay, now so I'm going to declare two variables, string browser equal to I'm going to declare string URL I declared only URL. Now under that, I'm going to just, so I'm going to get the constructor name login. Under that, I'm going to use system dot, system dot system dot what is the URL? What is the URL? Already declared now. So I'm going to just
Yes.
d dot get title. D dot get current URL. Now what I need to do? I need to specify my username and password. So I'll do one thing. Directly you can write the URL. So you don't need to click on the sign on button. Just I'll capture that username and password. So what is this? Just inspect that element and click on the username, name equal to username. Okay. Now d dot find element of by dot name. So I'm going to specify the password for this. So just I'm going for password. Click on that and click on the password. Name equal to password. Just I'm going to copy the password. Name equal to password. Dot Mercury. Now just change to by. Now similarly, println. Now after that, I want to click on the submit button. Just click on that and click on the submit. Name equal to submit. So d dot find element of by dot name by dot name submit dot click. After that, I want to, so what I need to do, d dot close. That's all. So that is my scenario. So what I'm going to do, that my constructor name is login, the class function name is login, and the class name is also login. And this is called as a public variable string. So I already mentioned that variable. And we need to create a, so now what I need to do, I need to create my main method. So public static void main string comma aux. Now under that, So what is your class name? Login kada. So just login a1 equal to new login. New login. That's all. ఇంకా మీరు మిగతాన్ని కాల్ చేయకల్లా ఎందుకంటే ఫంక్షన్ నేమ్ క్లాస్ నేమ్ ఒకటే ఉంది కాబట్టి. So now we have two errors. So what is error? So send keys. Change to send keys. Now here one more error. Change it to Chrome driver. Watch.open Selenium Chrome. Save the file. Now just I'm going to use the constructor for this. Got it? Okay na? Krishna? Chandu?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay na? So this is how we are going to use constructor. This is called default constructor. This is called default. Now how do you use parameterized constructor? Anybody? How do you use default parameterized constructor? How do you use the parameterize? Anybody? Can you tell me? Can I write like this? Yes. Can I declare like this? Yes, you can use it. So what I declared is I declared the function name with the string username and password. I've been passed this username and password to the application, and I'm going to pass these values from the main method to the function. This is called parameterized. This is called parameterized constructor. Okay na? So this is the parameterized constructor. This is called as a parameterized constructor. Previous one is the default constructor, and this is parameterized constructor. This is called as a parameterized constructor. So next. So classes and objects, and we are using with a parameterized constructors and default constructors. Any doubts? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, have you heard the term called inheritance? Have you heard the term called inheritance? Vinnara?
Yes.
What is my
Yes, yes.
inheritance? What is my inheritance? Chandu? Krishna, sir? What is my inheritance?
Sir, no idea, sir.
Inheritance.
Inheritance means creating the new class for existing new class.
Okay. The process of getting the property of one class into another class. One class into another class is called inheritance. ఒక క్లాస్ ఒక ప్రాపర్టీని ఇంకో క్లాస్ లోకి కాల్ చేసుకుంటే దాన్ని మనం ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ అంటామండి. ఇన్ అదర్ వర్డ్స్ వి కెన్ సే దట్ deriving what I don't have pen. Sorry. Okay, sorry. So what is meant? So in other words, we can say that we are going to derive the main class into the old class, into the new class. So in other words, we can say that the process of calling or deriving the new class from the old class, is called as inheritance. Here new class is also called as a derived class or child class or subclass. We call it as a subclass. Old class we can also called as a base class. We can say it as a base class. Then a base class అనొచ్చు, parent class అనొచ్చు. Okay, base class, parent class, or we can also call it as a super class. సో ఏదైతే మనం డిరైవ్ అంటే ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్ ఎప్పుడు ఓల్డ్ క్లాస్ అంటాం, దాని తర్వాత వచ్చే క్లాసెస్ అన్ని న్యూ క్లాసెస్ అంటాం. న్యూ క్లాస్ ని ఓల్డ్ క్లాస్ లోకి కాల్ చేసుకుంటే దాన్ని డిరైవ్డ్, అది ఆ న్యూ క్లాస్ ఏమంటాం, డిరైవ్డ్ క్లాస్ అనొచ్చు, చైల్డ్ క్లాస్ అనొచ్చు, సబ్ క్లాస్ అని కూడా అనొచ్చు అన్నమాట. ఓల్డ్ క్లాస్ ఎప్పుడు మనం బేస్ క్లాస్ అనొచ్చు, పేరెంట్ క్లాస్ అనొచ్చు, ఆర్ సబ్ క్లాస్ అనొచ్చు. ఇప్పుడు ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చూద్దామండి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ క్లాస్ 1 ఉంది, ఐ హావ్ సమ్ ఆపరేషన్స్. క్లాస్ 2 ఉంది. ఈ క్లాస్ 1 అనే దాన్ని ఏమంటాము, విల్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ ఏ ఓల్డ్ క్లాస్ ఆర్ బేస్ క్లాస్ ఆర్ సూపర్ క్లాస్. ఓకేనా, సూపర్ క్లాస్. and class 2 is a new class. It is a new class, which will called as a child class or subclass, or we can also call it as derived class. We call it as a derived class. So ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, for example, in this class I want to call the class 1 into class 2. I want to call the class 1 into class 2. So for that we can call multiple classes by using extends method ద్వారా మనం కాల్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఎగ్జాంపుల్ తీసుకుంటే, సో హియర్ syntax is class 2 extends class 1. Here class 2 is the derived class or sub